what if two independent people come together? Yes, there are differences, there are conflicts, but then we still see eye to eye.
Yeah.
And then hash out our differences, then go on and build something even bigger than what we could do ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's called interdependence, and I think that's really powerful.
Hey, welcome back to another expert series. I'm here with CJ, who is the founder and CEO of Move.
Well, I am the co-founder,
Co-founder, okay.
and not CEO because I am lazy like that.
Okay.
No, I am more of a free-spirited guy, and if you put me in the position of CEO, I think I would do a very terrible job.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're the face of Move.
Yeah, trying to.
Yeah. Okay, so why don't you tell me a little bit about Move? What is it, and how are you guys going so far?
All right, so Move Private Fitness, we're currently in 3 different countries. So Malaysia, Thailand, and Singapore. And we've been around for the last 6 years. So 22 studios. We are roughly around 100 square meter to about 200 square meter kind of size. But these days we tend to go for somewhere in the middle, 140 square meter. So if you're into square feet, that would be around 1,400 square feet.
Okay,
Yeah.
and why is that size?
So we believe that we are the premium segments in terms of personal training business model. And first of all, when you start to have a much bigger space, that means you have to fill in more coaches and clients. That ultimately reduces the privacy factor, which people pay for when it comes to the kind of premium offering that we have. So we keep it small. And also another thing is we want to keep the number of coaches to maximum 7. So most studios will have around 6. There's a good reason behind it. All right. So the moment a team gets big, like 12, 14, and I'm sure you've worked in places or you've seen a situation where the team just started to be a bit more cliquey and disengaged. You're in the meeting, you have 12 people, maybe only 3, 4 people get to speak. Everyone else just sit back and just watch.
It's a bit more intimate with less people and a bit more better kind of cultural community.
100%, you're right. You're totally right on that because culture, it comes down to the level of engagement, first of all, because without engaged coaches or employees, it's very hard to foster a great culture. So engagement is key, and the way to do it effectively is to make sure that the team is small so that everyone gets to know each other at a deeper level rather than a high and buy relationship.
And I'm sure when you said you like to keep it private, it's also more kind of like a homey family feel. So when a client, for example, goes, they know all the trainers or they know the front desk. There's only so many people there, right? So they feel more comfortable to go 100%. Train there. And you said, so it's private training one-on-one only, or you do group classes? What's the business model?
So only personal trainings. At the most, maybe 1-on-3. Mom and dad and a daughter, perhaps. Yeah. That's about it.
So a group would be basically people that know each other. It wouldn't be like a random group class.
You might have random ones, but then they have to be appointment-based. It can be perhaps 2 people have similar goals, and they are okay with the timing, and that's cool as well. But really, 95% of our clients are all one-on-one.
Yeah. So, and I guess what's the reason why you only wanted to focus on personal training? Because a lot of the new studios now, they do focus on group classes, having lots of people coming in and doing different classes 4 or 5 days a week. What made you decide to go that personal training route?
All right. Before I share with you a very noble cause that, behind why we do this, I think back in the days, 2020, when we first started, we actually had group classes happening. We actually had all that hardware and software trying to make it look like Orange Theory and F45 with a screen and all that stuff. We even had F&B all within the same space. So COVID came and it really got us thinking, what is the direction moving forward? So we decided to cut out group classes after doing some sort of analysis using Pareto principle, where we looked at 80% of revenue actually were contributed by 20% of the clients, which are the personal training clients. And these people are happy with what we did for them, and very little complaints, almost close to none. Whereas you have the group class members, they were like way more.
We're paying less, coming more.
and causing a lot of mess. Where are the towels? It's gone missing.
Yeah.
So we decided, you know what, it's really not worth our time. And sure, it can sound very selfish to say, hey, like we're so practical, just cutting out group classes, eliminating all the group class members. But at the end of the day, we have to be aware that, in business, you have to pick your battle. You can't just show up every day trying to fight 2-3 battles. And that was when we started to scale. Now, a more noble reason behind it was because I believe there's an underserved market, the 45-year-old, the 60-year-old, the 65-year-old. And I'll say, for them, they would probably get a lot more value out of us doing what we did, personal training, guiding them through step by step of how to do it. They would definitely benefit so much more because they're so afraid of being injured, right? One injury at the gym somewhere will maybe put them out of the game for like a few months because their recovery will be slow.
Because as you're older, you become a bit more fragile, right?
Yes.
As I'm getting older, also, I was talking to you in the lift. Like I was just at a workout and I couldn't move my butt because I had leg day the other day, on Wednesday.
You're not in your 20s anymore, man. Yeah. So yeah, people like you as well, entrepreneur, CEO, founder, people like you are very time strapped. And quite often, I'm sure you have days where it's chaotic in your office, in a meeting. You just want your little private sanctuary.
Yeah.
Not in your condo gym because you might see your neighbors.
Yeah.
But you just want your third place where you know a few coaches and nobody go and...
Yeah, you actually, you hit it on the head when you said I'm very busy. So I have a trainer. There's no move nearby me yet. But I love to go train with my trainer because I feel like I could just go there. I don't have to think, plan.
Exactly.
I go there, it's private. I train for an hour and then I leave.
Yeah.
I don't have to think about anything. I just know, I have my workout at this time.
Exactly. And you're paying top dollar, right?
Yeah. Like, and I probably paying a premium for it.
Yeah.
But I feel like I get a lot of value. I don't think I'm paying too much. I think I'm paying, if anything, maybe it's too cheap.
Yeah. How much do you pay?
I think it's 3,500 baht.
So that's almost about $100. Yeah,
Yes.
that's $100
Yes, around,
dollars.
yes.
So
Which is high. Maybe like Hong Kong, Singapore, it's on par. But in Thailand, I think that is probably on the higher end.
totally. And you see the value of it
Yeah,
because
100%.
you want to be efficient, effective, and you don't have time to waste because you can make money elsewhere faster rather than trying to save that $50.
Yeah, and check my phone in between sets.
Yeah, that's right.
And actually, going back to you did mention that you're focused on older people? You said you did mention 45 to 65.
Yeah.
Would you say your demographic or your client base seems to be slightly older?
Yes.
And why do you think that is?
It's a very exciting time right now where, thanks to social media, it's done something good for once.
Yeah.
That is educating people the importance of strength training and how aging doesn't have to come with all of these weaknesses, diseases, and people starting to feel like, hey, we have the power in our hands to make a change, and therefore they seek out for vendors and training studios like us to come and train. And it's crazy to hear many of them have never been to gyms at all.
Yeah.
And they're in their 40s. What have you been doing?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a misconception about kind of cardio and strength training, right? Where people think, I need to just go to the park, run around, do some laps. But actually, it's a lot more effective to go and lift some, not saying heavy weights, but it'd be a lot healthier to go, or beneficial to go lift weights and do some kind of functional training as well, right?
Yes, totally. I think if you were to line up cardio, running in the park, jogging, walking, and then weightlifting and yoga, all these modalities, if you really don't have a lot of times, strength training will be the one that gives you the most bang for your bucks.
Yeah.
It will help to improve bone density. It will help to, of course, improve your endurance, muscular endurance. It will help to improve posture as well, if done right. It will help to improve mobility, even when done right.
And also for weight loss, right? Which is what everyone thinks you have to go run for 30 minutes to lose weight, but actually probably going and lifting heavier weights, not saying hurt yourself, but lifting heavy weights is great for weight loss as well.
100%, you get to increase your resting metabolic rate. So it's almost like you get to burn more at rest when you're watching Netflix, and you'll be burning. Compared to someone who hasn't had much muscle mass sitting next to you, they won't be burning as much as you do, given that a lot of things that you both have are common and similar.
Yeah, and I guess going back to your target demographic, is there a specific training methodology behind your brand, behind Move, or do you leave it to the trainers that they can create their own programs, but you give them a guideline? How would the training at move differentiate, say, from, I'm not going to name studios, but like
Yeah.
not other studios around Bangkok or around
Yeah.
Asia?
So first of all, we don't ever have any exercise machines. So what I mean by that is like a leg press machine or a leg curl, leg extension machine or a bench press, a seated chest press machine. We don't have any of that. Not even skier, not even rowers, not even bikes, nothing.
Yeah.
Essentially, we focus on using free weights such as dumbbells, barbells, kettlebells, having rigs as well, balls, all of these things. So that is how we do our training predominantly with all of these tools. And then when clients come in, it's really about getting them to get familiar and good at the 8 fundamental movements. So we're talking about the hinging movements, the squatting movements, the pulling, the pushing, the vertical, horizontal, push-pull. So these are very important.
So would you say a lot of it, the core to your training is about mobility and being more being more mobile and strengthening, kind of like you said, like strengthening, like for not focused on like sports explosiveness. It's more general, just wellness.
Yeah, so it's very holistic, and people do come to us for different reasons at the beginning. Maybe they want to lose 5 kg, they want to do a post-rehab, which means they have just come off their physiotherapy sessions and they want to get strengthened before going back to play their sports. Or they might be your weekend warrior that play golf in Khao Yai on the weekend. They want to get better mobility and strength, core strength. So ultimately, they all stay because they want longevity and also long-term health.
So it'd be tailored to each client or customer,
Yep.
but using the same fundamentals of training methods.
Yep.
Is that a correct way to look at it?
Yeah, 100%. So our coaches have weekly education, so they are able to better prescribe personalization or personalized program to all of these clients. Essentially, this is really our core offer, which is strength training, not a huge focus on cardio or any type of sports athletic training kind of thing.
Yeah. No high rocks.
No high rocks. We let other people do it. We stick to our lane.
Leave it to the experts.
Yes.
So that's right. So also, it's very interesting that you're able to grow so quickly. So you said you started in 2020. That's 6 years, and you now have 22 locations. How are you able to? Personal training in general is not the easiest business to scale.
Yeah.
Because it's very people intensive. And I know this because I used to own a personal training studio in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And I know my biggest pain point was managing the trainers.
Yeah.
Because they'll have different personalities or methodologies of how they work.
Yeah.
How are you able to scale this business to being where you are today, 22 locations, in such, I guess, a short period of time?
Yeah, personal trainers, you're right, are probably amongst the hardest to lead and manage.
Yeah.
Personal trainers want to look good, get paid well. They want to have some money for crypto. They want to buy good cars. They want vacation. They want growth. They want recognition.
Well, it's like look, just by industry, they're vanity. Like they like to look good, right? So that I think translates into other parts of their life as well.
Yeah. So their needs are very different. Their needs and wants are very different. Yeah, from your typical 9-to-5 corporate employee, very different, right?
Yeah.
They risk their life to get out of that, to pursue a career of their passion. So we understand, that is the case. So we have to be very careful with a few things. So number one, we make sure that the culture is something that is empowering and inspiring. So culture in the past, how I understood was you and I, we like each other amongst our team members, we get along well, but then that was not enough to call it a good culture. A good culture is where you actually have high care and high challenge. That is a great culture. This is how we define our culture to be a high care and high challenge ones. So what that means is we'll provide a lot of care and all that stuff. We'll hear you out, understand what you're going through, but then we will also have the challenge part of business where we say, hey, look, let's do it. Get to your best personal potential, and let's, as a team, we push for the goal. So this is really, really important. And with that kind of framework, you get to think of many other things that we can start doing to help grow the team, right? So that you don't have a bunch of complacent PTs that are just happy with doing this amount of hours per month and not wanting to do more, not wanting to contribute more. And as a result, the business is going to be very hard to grow and scale.
Yeah.
And I think pre-framing that it's going to be a high care and high challenge culture, they know that, if you come in with ego, you're going to be struggling to get along with everyone else. So I would say personal trainers, a lot of them that are doing well out there, freelancing, a lot of time they have ego,
Yeah.
huge ego.
They probably do well on their own.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to bring them into your ecosystem. They probably think, I don't need you because I'm able to do maybe more on my own,
Yeah.
being my own boss.
Yeah, or
Buying
they
all
don't
my-
want to be challenged,
Yeah.
right? When you confront them, they'll be like, whoa. It's
Yeah.
like, what is this? Yeah, so, but then they also have a struggle of what's next for them if you're freelancing all the time. Is there a career path? Like going online coaching is not really an upgrade because it is just trading time for money using another medium, right? So a lot of time they would join us because they know the fact that there's no career path for them if they were to do it out there. There's no leverage.
Growth
opportunity.
opportunities.
Yes, that's right.
So in a studio, because they're talking about growth opportunities, do you develop trainers? I mean, does each center have, because there's obviously the managers, there's like a fitness manager at each center, who's kind of the key person for each studio that helps you to kind of make that studio successful?
The one that is accountable for it will be the manager.
And that is a trainer as well?
So yes, a lot of time the trainer will hold both a manager role or trainer, or currently we have a few people who just purely manage 1, 2, or 3 branches together, no more coaching. Yeah, so the manager has another person called edu trainer. Edu trainer is the one that focuses on the education side of things, which is very important because we are charging premium. We want to make sure we have someone there just purely focused on education and quality compliance side of thing. So manager will focus more on operation, hitting targets and all that. So 2 different roles, 2 different type of personality as well, right? The edu trainers tend to be more of a nurturer, and the manager can be more of a pioneering spirit person. So yes, these 2. But the beauty about how we work is with 22 branches, we have this culture of bonding. For example, we have perhaps a coach is struggling in this branch, and the manager can direct him or her to another coach to learn perhaps how do you deal with retention dropouts and all that stuff.
Yeah, so you have an ecosystem where people feel supported.
Yeah.
You know, if I say, for example, I come in, I'm training with you, and maybe I'm doing great at getting new clients, but maybe I'm struggling to get them to renew or to stay with me. You'd have someone that could, hey, Charlie, come over here. Let me kind of give you some coaching on maybe this is what you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not planning for like long term properly.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not delivering value, something like that.
Yes, and totally. We have a lot of workshops and training in the realm of coaching, in the realm of retention, and also beyond that. You know, we really want our coaches and our people to have that entrepreneurial spirit, so that one day we can also build another venture together. We would actually invest and incubate them to be the founder, and we just take a backseat with some minority share.
Yeah, so that's interesting. That leads into my next question. I was going to ask, so 22 locations, do you own them all, or what's your business model? Do you have partners for each location? Is it a franchise model? How have you been able to scale that quickly?
All right, so from day one, 2020, we got an investor from one of our clients. And ever since, we have just been raising funds from investors for our growth. So we have raised probably around, if you put into Thai baht, around 80 million Thai baht so far for our expansion in Malaysia, Singapore, and Thailand. And 85% of investors are actually our clients. So they have experienced what we do, and also they are, the targeted audience for this kind of thing as well, because our price point is quite high. And therefore...
And they see the value as well, I guess, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, whereas for outsiders who don't see the value, it takes a lot to convince. Yeah, so how we do it is we have investors come in at the branch level where we create an SPV. So they will invest in Thailand, it's 10 million baht, all right? So, but then it's not from one person. It can be from 20 different people. And then that branch that SPV will allow us to open 4 branches. So investors will ultimately hold 40% altogether in the SPV. And then we do it this way, no franchising. So we operate everything for the investors.
So it's almost like, it's kind of like a franchise model in a way where you separate them.
Yeah.
So just so I'm clear, so you open up a SPV that manages and oversees. Mm-hmm. And then you basically offer up 4 locations to investors. So each of those locations, those 22, they're split up into 4 would you call them like blocks? Blocks of 4 locations?
Yeah, locations.
Yeah. And those, so like the investors come in very passively and they don't have to worry about how to manage a studio. You guys basically take on all the management, the marketing, the sales, the training. Really for them, it's just a passive investment.
That's right. They don't
Which is
want
better for that, because I think a lot of times if you do a straight, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you did a straight, I'll just use it for an example. If I was to straight transfer to a straight franchise model with, say, Anytime, I have to then go and operate the business, right?
Yeah.
And then I have to do all the franchise fees. I have to follow all their protocols and all that kind of stuff. But I have to operate it. Where with Move, you don't have to operate.
100%.
And that's probably why a lot of your clients like it, because they say, "Oh, this is great."
Yeah.
I just put, it's kind of like just a passive investment for them.
Yeah. They don't need another job. Yeah.
And so tell me about that. So how have the SPVs performed so far? When it say if someone's to invest in it, how quickly could they be looking for a return of investment?
So usually in the
Typical model, yeah.
Yeah, in the first 12 to 18 months is what we call the building phase. So the ROI can be single digits. Now from the third year, fourth year, fifth year, it will be around 25, 30% and above per annum.
Yeah.
So that will be the kind of ROI. So if you were to average out the 5 years, it would be roughly around 20, 25% per annum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a pretty good investment.
Yeah.
And is it the same? Because obviously Malaysia was your beachhead market where you've obviously done very well. How has it been entering into Singapore and Thailand?
Right.
Have you found like different challenges? Because it's no longer your backyard, so to speak, right?
Yeah, very good question.
How have you found entering the new markets?
Awesome. So with Thailand, it was a merge with my ex-boss, who I worked for 12 years ago. His name is Richard Cohen. He's the OG of boutique fitness in Thailand, Bangkok.
Yeah, was that Lab?
Yeah, the Lab.
Yeah, that's where actually we met.
Yeah, exactly.
12 years ago?
Yes. Man, full circle. Crazy. And so 2 years ago, 2024, we merged, right? I reached out to him and say, let's do something together because he's experienced and also network. We can totally pull off, something greater than what he had, which was one studio in 2024. So we merged, and what we found throughout the last 2 years is the challenges of finding English-speaking local Thai coaches, because we don't hire foreigners. There would be too much complication with the visa and all that. Yeah, so that was a huge challenge. Whereas in Malaysia, pretty much most people speak English if you're in the capital city.
It's like Singapore and Hong Kong, right?
Yeah.
And most people speak English relatively well as a second language.
Exactly. Even the guy at the petrol station will speak English, right, in Malaysia. So Thailand, that has been a challenge in the first year. But then, interestingly, the last 8 months to 12 months, it has been, we have local coaches with like full-on American accent English and can speak Thai. We have so many of them.
Yeah.
And then 2 of my ex-colleagues from New Zealand, I used to work there as a coach as well. 2 of them actually came over.
And they're Thai.
And they're Thai.
Oh, wow.
And they decided to move back to Thailand after decades in New Zealand. So that's crazy. And we have another half South African and Thai mix. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I think that previously, maybe personal training wasn't such a desirable job occupation for people.
Yeah.
Maybe 15, 20 years ago. Like when you first started out, I'm sure not many people are going into this direction.
Yeah.
But I feel like now it's quite aspiring, and people are really, like, more and more people are wanting to get into health and wellness and fitness. And starting out as a coach is a great way into the business.
Yeah.
Because you can, it's kind of starting from the ground up, so to speak, where you're dealing with clients, customers, how the body works.
Yeah.
But there are opportunities where you can progress into management, sales, and business ownership. There's so many different opportunities where that can arise from coaching, which maybe weren't available before. Is that correct as well?
Totally, yes. I think until today, that path isn't really quite there still. A lot of people just come in as a coach, got all excited, but then realize what's next.
Yeah.
So
because you're limited by, like, a typical coach, just from, like, say you go work in a gym or studio, you're limited by how many hours do you want to teach per day.
Exactly.
And then you have an hourly charge, and then you're capped there.
Yeah.
So, but where now I think there's more opportunities, like, say, for example, a coach you could have that maybe they come to you, hey, I'd love to open my own SPV and do 4 branches.
Yeah.
And then they could move into management or ownership because they're probably the best people because they know how the business works.
Totally, yeah.
And it's something that's very relevant to them.
Yeah, I would say the world has evolved so much that we have to evolve as a business owner in this fitness industry. But the sad truth is it hasn't evolved for the last 20, 30 years, right? The same old employer-employee model has been around and still around 99% of the time. But then we just decided, hey, look, the Gen Zs and the Gen Alpha will be the workforce that will dominate the fitness industry,
Yeah.
all right? Is there something that we can help them to work towards the aspiration of owning something? To them, is self-actualization. To them, is feeling like they belong and they also have a say about certain things. So we're gonna have a path like that. Otherwise, you're gonna have a lot of churn, right? They want to work for themselves. They want to have freedom.
So in an ideal world, most of your coaches, you'd love them to progress further to become owners of their own
Yeah.
moves in the future. Would you say that would be the ideal progression for you and your coaches?
So there will be a few paths. Currently, they can actually just invest at a cost price. So they don't have to do much in terms of career progression. They can just stay coaching, working.
And invest in the studio, the
yeah,
business.
and serving clients at the highest level. They can still invest. The second path is they can open studios for coaches that became manager and proven themselves. They can open studios and unlock shares in studios.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the youngest one we have is 27-year-old. He has done 4 studios. And yeah, that's pretty cool, right?
And it's someone that just was maybe a few years ago just a coach, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. He came in as a coach. He's a master in nutrition, which has nothing to do with what he's doing now.
Management, yeah.
Yeah, and then another path is, of course, a leadership role, and then eventually get into HQ. They don't necessarily have to, really become an owner or anything like that, but then they will be having access to the HQ share, given that they are the one that put their weight and,
It's you've built a very good business model because I found from my experience in the past, I came from the fitness world, is that a lot of trainers, once they get enough clients, they the first thing is like, oh, I can go open my own studio.
yeah,
They just want to take the clients and then maybe in some cases it's true in like a typical, where there's no kind of methodology behind
Yeah.
it, where they think, oh, I have 30 trainers, for their clients, they'll all just follow me.
Yeah.
And then maybe they'll get their friend who's another trainer and they'll go open a studio.
that's Singapore for you.
Yeah.
Right there. If you ask me how is Singapore expansion, right? So
Yeah.
that's the landscape right now.
And then for you or other
For other gyms, yeah.
other gyms.
Yeah.
But do you think that's a long-term strategy?
No, that's a very finite mindset because opening a studio is not the same as coaching. You can be a great barista, but running a cafe is very different, right? You can be a great gardener and nursery plantation person, but to run a whole plantation is a whole different skill set
Yeah.
and mindset as well. So a lot of time what they end up with is partnership disagreements because you have 20 clients, I have 20 clients, we say, let's open our own gym, all right? The problem here is we are doing the same thing, and as a result, a 50-50 split will create deadlocks,
Yeah.
right? Or 51-49. Even then, because we have something that we can compare apple to apple. If you have 20 clients, you're doing 120 hours a month for the last 6 months, and I'm doing 80 hours, you start to feel a bit weird,
Yeah.
right? But then we are splitting the profit evenly.
Yeah.
You start to feel a bit weird.
And then also what they think, they underestimate the cost of electricity, equipment when something's not working,
Yeah.
and general complaints.
Yeah.
But before you have to deal with that kind of stuff. You just go, just talk to front desk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And quite often, many trainers have the wet dream of having the best of equipment, like machines and all that stuff. They have fantasy of like, this is my dream gym. And
Yeah.
they meet another guy named Charlie and be like, you have the same wet dream. Oh my God, let's do it. We have rich uncle and clients. They can invest.
Yeah.
And they throw in like $1 million. Eventually.
Maybe it'll last like 2 or 3 years, and then
Yes.
eventually the disagreement or something comes
Exactly.
up.
A few things
I've
right
seen
there.
it many times.
Yeah, it happens in Singapore so much because somehow the coaches have access to wealth very easily.
Yeah, because of the clients.
Yes.
Yeah, and they have a good rapport and relationship with the client. Generally, the clients just think, oh, they must know. They work in a gym for so long, they must know how to run
Yeah.
a gym also, which is not. Sometimes it can happen and it can work out very well, but I think lots of the time it's not. It doesn't work out so well.
Yeah, the crazy thing is their clients that invest, must have been very cautious and very smart about how money works and all that stuff. That's how they became wealthy. But then when it comes to this kind of investment, it's like, okay, I believe in you. You have no experience, but no problem. It's a great business plan on the napkin. Throw it. I just don't understand the logic behind.
A lot of strategy.
Yeah.
No, and even for you look at yourself, I want to ask you about, you said you're a co-founder and you started out as a coach and like now you've been able to build up a business with 22 locations.
Oh.
Oh, just, okay.
Oh.
Oh, sorry. Okay. We'll have a break.
Is it 1 hour already?
No. He said the
Oh,
camera.
it's only 40 minutes.
The
Yeah, I
camera
mean,
went out.
yeah.
What was the question I asked? I kind of get lost.
I think you were just
Oh no, but
setting,
I was going to ask about co-founder.
setting context, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we got quite some insightful thing that.
Yeah, we're going to go another 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Co-founder, what
No,
would...
so usually, so I didn't even look at my notes.
It just flows, right?
No, so I prepared notes. 'Cause
Yeah.
sometimes, I've had a few times where the person just speaks a lot and explains everything, then I have nothing. Oh my god! But our conversation is quite insightful, right?
Yeah. I think it's been. I realized I don't stutter as much.
Yeah.
Which is something I was worried about just now.
Yeah.
I was like, man,
But also, I think natural conversation is very good.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
then you can, it doesn't seem so staged,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, oh, so how do I sign up? What's your Instagram?
Yeah.
Where's your OnlyFans link?
OnlyFans./ Yeah, so, and I think because maybe you're in the fitness industry, you were before, and then you...
Yeah, I kind of know what to talk about, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And this is 2 episodes.
Keep roll.
Okay.
3, 2.
Okay. So you did mention before that you are a co-founder, and obviously you come from a fitness background. You started as a coach, then you've built up 22 locations, which is amazing. But is your partner also a coach? What was his background, and how do you guys work together as Batman and Robin, so to speak?
Oh, great one. So yes, he was a coach as well, and we both came from failed business partnership, and then we decided to reset. That's when we had common shared problem struggle. I would say we had a whole another level of appreciation with each other, because if he was going to be my first partner, I would feel like perhaps it wouldn't work out, because I'm quite a feisty person and I can be quite provocative when I was younger.
Yeah.
And then especially if I was younger and if that was going to be my first venture, it might not turn out well. I was that freelancer full of ego that I thought I could conquer the world by myself. But then, because of this shared pain and problem, we came together. And also we saw the problem in the fitness industry where the coaches are stuck. So that was something that it was really personal for him, right? He decided to do something about it together with me. And I would say at first he was having me as his mentor, but then what happened was within 1.5 years, he surpassed me in many things. So this is the point in time where a lot of people, if you were insecure, you will start to do something to try to push him down, just really brush it off and be like, no, that's not how you do it. Because I was the guy that knew it all, because I had a studio that was doing really well before. It was the top studio in the whole Malaysia. I knew how things work, especially in KL. But then I just, felt like, hey, this is a good thing, because I wouldn't have to be doing all the thinking myself, and he can work on 5 other things. I can focus on these few things I have on hand and then go a lot deeper. So he is more of a defender. If you say a game of football, I'm more of a striker.
Yeah.
So it's been
he kind of
really
keeps
great.
you grounded.
Yeah, and I would say he's a rare gem.
So you focus on different parts of the business.
100%.
So what's your focus mainly? I guess it's on sales, promotion, and because I always see you out there.
So yes, nowadays this is what I do. I still believe that a founder-led brand is important. We are still young, we are still new, especially when we're talking about expanding into new market.
Yeah.
That is very important to still have push my presence. In new countries like Philippines, we're looking into going in Indonesia and the rest of Asia. So whereas in Malaysia, it doesn't really require me as much anymore, but I just do it because it's just a hygienic kind of thing that I feel like I just need to keep doing. Yeah, but it can still grow without me. My presence, my influence is just the icing on the cake, right? So it shouldn't be rising and falling because of me. And so I would say truly appreciate Justin. His name is Justin. And, there was one time I remember we were pushing for the next location. And it was more like I wanted to push for the next location without telling and asking everyone. And then what happened was I brought up in the meeting, just right away from the get-go, he was like, no, we're not doing it. And I was like a bit like, ready to debate. And then, so I felt a bit like, man, why do I have to pitch so hard to get your buy-in and all that stuff? All right. And it's funny, within a day, he came back and say, CJ, you know what? There's a reason why I partnered with you, right? You are there to push us to grow. And I think we just need to really appreciate that, you're pushing us and we just need to find a way back in. So I was like, wow, I've never heard anyone so wise before. The day before, it was like head-butting. The next day, he said that, and he said that a few times already, not just that one time. He said there's a reason why
I compliment each other.
Yeah, and having someone with such level of maturity, it's so rare. Like a lot of time, I feel like I don't give in enough. He's the one that's been giving in.
And so I guess, because a lot of businesses sometimes fail when there's two partners and they kind of have a disagreement. And I guess, you were a solo founder before in your last business, and how do you find it having like
I was a co-founder.
Also? How do you find having a co-founder a lot more beneficial in a business versus being a solo founder?
I would say co-founder all the way, having two founders. There's a research or survey done by Y Combinator, which is the world's most successful incubator. I think they have helped many unicorns in US to,
It's one of the most famous in San Francisco.
So they did a survey and they realized most successful ventures actually have two partners or two founders. And there's another guy called Naval Ravikant. He said a very interesting quote. He said, running a business is like parenting. Yes, you can do it alone, but preferably not. So you can be a single parent, no problem.
Do you know what's funny? I am a single parent and a single founder. Maybe that's why I'm used to it.
Wait till you have that 1 + 1 = 11 synergy. Oh my God, that's what we call the interdependence. It's a principle introduced by Stephen Covey in a book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, right? Where he talked about how a lot of time in our society, we give praises to people who can be independent, right? That is great, but then you can only go so far. What if two independent people come together? Yes, there are differences, there are conflicts, but then we still see eye to eye. And then hash out our differences, then go on and build something even bigger than what we could do ourselves. So that's called interdependence, and I think that's really powerful.
And you said talking about building something bigger together. What is your plan? Like, so for where do you want to see your business go in the next kind of 3 to 5 years? And do you want to sell it? Do you want to build it up? Do you want to keep running it? What's your long-term vision for Move?
So I would say we probably don't have any plan to IPO or sell it. Perhaps if we were to sell it, it would just be like a 10%, 20% to someone to inject like $10 million to help us grow, but not entirely selling it. I have seen many successful businesses that are still privately owned, and that is pretty interesting how you can be at scale and still privately owned and maintaining the quality and all that stuff. I feel like Move Private Fitness, this is a vehicle for us to really scout for great talent who might start off as a coach, but then because they have their mind and heart and hands at the right place, we can groom them into the next founder of other things. So it is actually an incubator for us to build the next unicorn.
Because you say you have a lot of in-house kind of entrepreneurs, these your coaches, right? Because how many staff would you guys have now?
So coaches, 130 plus.
Wow.
So, and then you have the back-end team, another 15 or 18.
Wow, so it's a big team. No, and like you said, like those are all people that have ambitions and dreams, right? And maybe they can do it alongside you guys.
Yes, that's right. And I would say there's a lot of founders out there. They are being exploited by investors. And investors that are, very savvy with all the clause and terms, they tend to find a way to eat them up, which is not very good. And we're also here to fight against that, right? There are founders out there, maybe they need some funding, they need incubation, and we want to be there for them. And because we have almost experienced an investor just coming up with terms that are very cheeky, right? And then we just kind of like F this,
Yeah.
and this kind of investor exists in so many places.
Yeah, so you try to make it more even playing field for everybody.
Yeah, and great founders don't have to just compromise their values, their purpose, because they meet the wrong investors and they did not read the clause and terms properly.
Yeah.
So we want to take a stand for those people as well.
Yeah. Well, just being aware of time, I feel like I could talk to you on and on. But I do have one question for you just to wrap up with for today. Is obviously we're sponsored by Vitals for this platform. Is there a supplement or vitamin that you swear by or that you kind of live by day to day, or anything that you could recommend, and then why?
Oh, definitely 3 of them.
Okay.
Fish oil, omega-3. So I would definitely go for that because it's anti-inflammation. Because fish oil helps with anti-inflammation, right? So we have inflammation everywhere, and from the food we eat, sometimes the wrong type of food, and also from training, right? I think managing inflammation is so important because there are so many diseases out there. If you trace back to the root cause, it's inflammation.
Yeah.
And it's not because you have too much of this kind of food to eat, right? That's the problem. It's more like the food probably is the one that triggered inflammation that you did not manage well. So that's fish oil. The second one is definitely vitamin C, right? I think for people like us, we are out there doing things and lack of sleep, sometimes our immune system drops. Vitamin C is affordable and it's probably quite overlooked. We just need to make sure that we take that. Number 3 is actually vitamin D.
Okay.
Right. So if you do your vitamin D blood test, where you can see how much deficiency you have, most likely you will. Because most people living in this part of the world, we stay indoor most of the time. Nobody walks out at 10 a.m. be like, do a 20-minute sunning, right? It's impossible.
Yeah.
I tried that. It's just not practical, right? You just start sweating,
You can just say 20, 30 minutes of sun a day is like good vitamin D, right?
Yeah.
So for your just general wellness.
Yeah, and if you can't afford to do that every day, just do.
It's a lot of time.
Yes.
It's like 3 hours a week.
Yes, that's right. So yeah, taking vitamin D supplements. And of course, I would have other ones such as magnesium as well. It's so important.
Yeah, good for sleep as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't count that as too many supplements. I would say, you're not going to get all of these from your lifestyle, your food all the time. So it's good to have enough rather than always be on the deficiency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, thanks so much for that. Thank you for today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And if someone wants to move in Thailand, where can they find you guys?
So at the moment, we are in Asok, Prompong, and Onut. And they can find us on moveprivatefitness.com.
Yeah. And have a new one opening, can you say? Or
Wireless Road?
Wireless Road.
Yep.
Nice. I'll be sure to check that one out.
All right.
Thanks so much, TJ.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.